Hey guys, it's Josie. So first of all, sorry about my hair. It's pissing me off and not doing what I want it to do, and I really don't feel like curling it, so it's just gonna be up like this because YOLO. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a review of the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. And not only that, but I am going to be comparing the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer with the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer to see if they are in fact actual dupes for one another. I haven't put on any makeup yet. I decided that I was going to put like foundation on and concealer and show you guys what I think as I put it on. I'm going to quickly apply all of my foundation and then I will be back to show you guys and test the concealers out. Okay, so I am back now. I have applied my foundation, which I decided to go with a tinted moisturizer instead. That way I can show you guys how much coverage each of the two concealers have. So I used the Laura Mercier, oopsie, I almost dropped it, tinted moisturizer. So on the left side of my face, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and then on the right side of my face, I'm going to be using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. And to do that, I'm going to be using my Zoeva 142 Concealer Buffer Brush. If you saw or watched my last video, you know I did a review of the Zoeva Rose Golden Eye Set. So if you want to see that, I will put a link somewhere here as well as at the end of the video. I'm going to apply the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer as I usually would. So the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer is one of my favorite concealers from the drugstore. I think it works wonderfully. I will say though, it isn't really the best with covering up anything that needs to be covered up, because it isn't long lasting. I probably should have said that I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade 10 Light, and then in the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer I'm using it in the shade Custard. Okay, so now that I've applied the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, I'm going to put on the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. The first major difference that I can tell between the two is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer is actually a whole hell of a lot creamier and kind of a little bit more wet than the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, which is kind of funny because the NARS Creamy Concealer literally has the word creamy in it. But it's definitely not as creamy as the Maybelline one. And I've got some spots on this side, so I'm going to be using the NARS concealer to cover up some redness, this disgusting blemish that I have that's popping through, and I think that's really all I needed on is those areas. So application wise, I can't really tell a difference. They both have a doe foot applicator, so that's the same. The packaging is the same basically. The NARS one looks a little bit more luxurious because it is a high-end product, but the product itself so far is pretty similar, I think. So I'm going to finish putting on the rest of my makeup and then I will be back to tell you guys a little bit more about the two concealers. Okay, so after all is said and done, and I've given this a little bit of time to kind of set and kind of collect what I think of these two products, I would have to say that the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer is in fact a dupe for the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. The reason being because they pretty much apply the same, because there's honestly not very much of a difference between the two. The only thing that I do notice over the course of my time like trying out the Radiant Creamy Concealer is that it does have a much longer lasting power than the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. But if you powder and maybe reapply throughout the day, I don't really see that as that big of an issue. Underneath my eyes, depending on how much I use of the product, the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer always creases underneath my eyes no matter how much or how little product I use. I find that with the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, that isn't necessarily the case. There still is a little bit of creasing underneath my eye with this concealer, but it's not as much as what I usually have with the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Another thing that I have found while testing these two products out is I can use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer just on its own without having to use a tinted moisturizer or a foundation or anything like that. And this really goes back to this not lasting as long as this does. I find that I do need that extra little bit of coverage because this doesn't hold up for very long. Overall though, I do really believe that these are dupes for one another, so $22 for me is a really big difference, and if I'm in the mood to give myself a little bit of a splurge and treat myself, then I will go for the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, but I am just as content to be using my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. It does the same thing. So really either one of these are fantastic options, and they're both really good products. Alrighty guys, so I hope you all enjoyed my little review of the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer slash finding out and figuring out whether or not the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer was a dupe for the NARS Concealer. If you guys liked this video and want to see maybe a little bit more of these kinds of videos, me reviewing products or finding dupes for products, please let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you did like it, as well as subscribing if you're not already to get a little bit more of all of this awesomeness. All of my social media links will be listed down below as well as at the end of this video like they always are. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Stay weird, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!